The Christmas Reunion Down at Martinsville, written by Augustus M. Hodges. This was published in the Indianapolis Freeman in December 1894. 'Twas a bright Christmas morning in M.O., Kentucky. Aunt Sally was busy disrobing a duck. A featherless turkey close by her side lay, prepared for the dinner that bright Christmas day. 'Twas a family reunion, and Uncle Joe Moore and his good wife, Aunt Sally, both 10 and 80, had gathered around them their girls and their boys, with their children's children, the grandparents' toys. The girls, all past 30, were helping to make the sweet tater puddings, the pies, and the cake. The boys and the grandboys, the fires were making. The oldest granddaughter, the biscuits were baking. The little grandchildren, a dozen or more, were having a good time just outside the door, while Uncle Joe Moore, the venerable sire, sat smoking his pipe with his feet by the fire. When the clock tolled the midday, the feast was complete, and after each member had taken his seat, the venerable sire stood up by his chair, and with arms uplifted, he offered this prayer. "We thank thee, our Father in heaven," he said, "for the abundance of good things before us now spread. We thank thee, dear Lord, that me and my wife have been spared by thy goodness to reach an old life. We thank thee of all things, the most and the best, to meet all our children from north, south, and west. Continue thy blessings, thy goodness and love, and prepare us to meet thee in heaven above." The grace being over, the feast was begun. The duck and the turkey were carved one by one. The big chicken pot pie received the same fate. A superabundance was piled on each plate. After the meats came the puddings and pies. Then how the grandchildren all opened their eyes when one of their uncles from up Illinois brought out from the closet a basket of toys. As dinner was over, the venerable sire got up from his seat and stood by the fire. He called to his side each lamb of his fold and blessed and caressed them as Jacob of old. "What changes we've seen, Sal," remarked Uncle Joe. "These years been blessed, some 40 or so. 'Twas, let me see, 40? Yes, 41 years since the Christmas we first met at Uncle Bill Steers. I remember, old man, you look mighty grand, and I was then, children, a good-looking man. I walked with your mother from Canyon that night, and 'fore we got home, why, I got in a fight. Tom Scott, a patroller, insulted your mother, and I knocked him down, and Ed, his big brother. I then asked your mother if she'd be my wife. Her answer was, 'Yes, Joe, since you risked your life for me up the road and licked old Tom Scott. Why, I'll be your wife. Why, Joseph, why not?' But the next day, my children, my master sold me to an old nigger trader from East Tennessee. There I worked on a farm without seeing your mother for 80 long days till me and another plantation hand ran away and met with good luck, for we soon found ourselves on the shores of Kentucky. Before my old white folks knowed I'd run her away, we two was married that same Christmas day. We was married at Scottsville by old Pete Brown. He was a white preacher who lived in the town and would marry we slaves folks no matter or not if our masters was willing and if he'd only got a $2 bill or a barrel of corn. And the very next Christmas, our Lucy was born. The next of the past that I now can remember was when we moved here, Sal, the following September. And then came the war. Sal and old master died, while Mrs. and you, Sal, stood by my side. Then I left you and the children and went out to fight for the Union and freedom one warm summer's night. Then good Abraham Lincoln, he set us all free. And we had in Martinsville a big jubilee. Then you boys and you girls all worked hand to hand to buy me and your mother this house in this land. Then some of you married and some went out west, while me and your mother, along with the rest, stayed on the old homestead and worked night and day, a farming and trucking, and made the work pay. We are glad for to meet you all back here once more and see all your dear babies together before. Me and your mother, for we're both old and gray, receive old death's summons to call us away. God bless you and keep you through life is my prayer. And the venerable sire sat down in his chair. The rest of the evening was spent in a measure, receiving old friends or by chatting in pleasure, till long after midnight, with hearts light and gay. 'Twas a happy reunion, a bright Christmas day.